Have you noticed it's getting harder and harder to sit down outside? That park bench with the armrest in the middle? You think it's for resting your elbow. It's not. It's to stop someone from lying down. Those jagged rocks under overpasses? You think it's landscaping. It's not. It's to stop someone from pitching a tent. Those metal studs on the edge of planters? You think it's decoration. They're called skate stoppers, to keep skaters from using the surface. There's a name for this: hostile architecture. And it wasn't made against vandals or criminals. It was made against you. Once you learn to read it, you'll see it everywhere. Benches with metal dividers, grates over subway vents, sprinklers that turn on at 3 a.m. in covered areas, blue or pink lights in public bathrooms because they make it harder to find veins, sloped surfaces anywhere someone could rest. All of this has technical names: defensive design, deterrent urban furniture, exclusionary architecture. But the most honest name is different: concrete police. Because it works like police, except it doesn't need a uniform, doesn't need to approach you, doesn't need due process. The object speaks for itself. You're not welcome here. And unlike a guard, it never leaves, never takes a break, never negotiates. The message is carved in stone. Literally, who's the enemy? The official answer is antisocial behavior. Skaters, graffiti artists, drug dealers, homeless people. The real answer is broader. Hostile architecture hates teenagers. In some English cities, they installed pink lights that highlight acne, specifically to drive young people away from certain areas. Hostile architecture hates the elderly. Sloped benches are impossible for anyone who has trouble standing up. Surfaces without back support punish anyone who needs to rest. Hostile architecture hates pregnant women, hates disabled people, hates anyone who needs to stop. But above all, hostile architecture hates visible poverty. The Camden bench manufacturer said in an interview, the bench's goal is to minimize the amount of time people spend in an area. Think about that. The design's success is measured by how long you don't stay. And here's where the paradox begins: the economics of hate. How much does a Camden bench cost? Around $5,000, more expensive than a regular bench precisely because it's engineered for exclusion. Now how much does it cost to solve the problem it pretends to solve? In the United States, programs that provide direct housing to homeless people, the model called Housing First, cost about $16,000 per person per year. Sounds expensive, but wait. Studies show that a homeless person with mental health issues generates on average more than $40,000 per year in public costs: medical emergencies, psychiatric hospitalizations, jail time, temporary shelters. When that person gets housed, the cost drops by half. In Seattle, a permanent housing program saved $4 million in its first year. In Denver, emergency costs dropped nearly $7,000 per housed person. In Finland, each housed person saves 15,000 euros per year for the public system. The Camden bench saves nothing. It just moves the problem somewhere else. The homeless person doesn't disappear. They go to another neighborhood, to the outskirts, to where tourists don't see. So why does the city choose the $5,000 bench instead of the program that actually works? Because the bench solves a different problem. It doesn't solve poverty, it solves the visibility of poverty. The anti-object. Design critics call the Camden bench an anti-object. It's defined more by what it prevents than what it offers. Anti-sleep, anti-skate, anti-graffiti, anti-litter, anti-dealing, anti-staying. But think about what it means to create a bench that's hostile to sitting, a plaza that's hostile to staying, a city that's hostile to existing without consuming. Jane Jacobs, the greatest urbanist in history, said that a street's safety comes from eyes on the street, people talking, people standing around, people watching. Hostile architecture removes the eyes. It creates transit zones, non-places, spaces where the only permitted action is to move through and by. And the result is ironic. Empty spaces are more dangerous. spaces where no one stops or spaces where no one sees. In trying to clean up the city, we killed what made it a city. The city as text. Every city is a text. The buildings say who has money. The streets say who can move. The benches say who can stop. Hostile architecture is a sentence. It says, you only belong here if you have somewhere to go next. If you have a home, it's inconvenient. If you don't, it's violence. And the question that remains isn't whether the Camden bench works. It's who decided this was the problem to solve. Who chose to spend $5,000 on an object of exclusion instead of investing in what actually reduces misery? Who designed a city where resting is a crime? Who turned public space into an open-air shopping mall where only paying customers get in? The city wasn't born this way. It was designed. And design can change. Next time you're tired on the street and can't find a place to sit, remember, it's not negligence, it's architecture. The city is telling you something. The question is whether you're going to listen. If you want to understand how invisible design shapes your life and your freedom, subscribe to Dichotomia. We analyze what's hidden in plain sight.